Hey, I'm Lenny.
And I'm Gavin, and together we're known as Short Attention Spa.
You're listening to our new daily-ish podcast, Comedians Calling Comedians During Corona. Our live shows got canceled, so we're planning to go viral instead.
We're setting out to flatten the curve and give you and ourselves some laughs each day by calling comedians from around the world.
Sometimes our moms might be on too.
Mom, we're recording a podcast.
We're available on all the podcast platforms like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all the other ones. Please subscribe, and you can watch the video version of this call on our YouTube channel, Short Attention Spa. It's still March, and this is episode 12.
Our guest today is a stand-up comedian, an improviser, a teacher, and an MC in Hong Kong. Plus, he has an unhealthy fascination with sea monkeys.
Let's give Pete Grella a call.
Hello, Pete.
All right. Welcome.
All right.
Hello.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
You're on the beach.
Yeah, I figure it's safe.
Yeah, it's a safe
That's
place
right.
to be.
Distancing.
And a nice place to be. You have a cold drink there?
It's 10 in the morning here, so I have my coffee.
Oh, right. 10 in the morning.
Right
Coffee, beach coffee.
And it's
Right
10
on.
p.m. here.
Where are you? I see someone's in Frozen, and there's
I'm in
is that a
Frozen.
beaver behind you, Lenny.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
beaver.
right. So, because as you can tell, we're in Canada. Those two things, I think, would indicate well enough that we're in Canada. This beaver is actually
Fair
practicing
enough.
social distancing because you see the long stick in its mouth means that no other beavers can get within 2 meters.
The 2-meter stick.
Personal
That's right.
stick bubble. That's nice.
That's right. Thanks for joining us, Pete.
Thank you for having me.
We're talking to you in Beijing, China. Is that right?
Hong Kong.
Oh, Hong Kong. I'm sorry.
Yes. All right.
And
Yeah, that's a
what's it
mistake.
like there?
You don't want to make that mistake, Gavin.
That's right.
That's a sensitive mistake to make.
Yeah, give it time.
That's right. No. Okay. Make that distinction for sure, and make no other comment on that. But how are things going over there? What's it like these days in Hong Kong, Pete?
Well, not so great. We pretty much we're as they say flattening the curve, and then just recently, in the past week or so, we had another spike. We had a lot of students and some visitors returning from U.S., UK, especially a lot of the Hong Kong students that study abroad when they came back. And so many people that were coming over were not observing the 14-day self-isolation. So we've had another spike. So the government is thinking of they are going to institute some more measures now.
I see. And what are some of the measures that have been in place so far?
Well, what they've just done starting at midnight or just 12 in the morning today was no more gatherings of over 4 people. Bars, bars, restaurants, cinemas, gyms closed for 2 weeks. So
those things
before
had been open?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. They floated the idea a couple of weeks ago of telling bars they can't serve alcohol. The way the chief executive, the way she put it was, having alcohol makes people become less aware of their social distancing. So then, that's why people go to bars. So with no alcohol, people will be fine. No, it doesn't work that way. But it was still fine. But now they're okay, now no more gatherings of more than 4. Restaurants can have people, but at half capacity, and tables have to be a table width apart. So
I see.
Yeah. And they had similar restrictions here, but I think they've already moved on past that to, in the last week or so, to closing non-essential businesses. And then, of course, there's debate about what exactly is essential or not.
Right.
But we've had the same kind of thing with the snowbirds coming back to Canada, the vacationers.
Oh, right. Yeah, I never thought of that one. No. Yeah.
And kind of sort of seeding it, or that's the theory, is spreading it into communities by visiting people, by shopping and stuff.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, a lot of people have been staying away. Just so you can see, so many of the restaurants are quiet anyway, and schools have been shut since January.
Oh wow!
So we've been doing
right, and
online,
so
yeah.
And you're performing mostly your comedy in bars and clubs, in theaters?
Well, generally with the stand-up comedy, there are a couple of comedy clubs here that we perform at. And then for the improv, we have a studio that we book. So it hasn't been in a bar or restaurant. So it's been a standalone event.
Okay.
And how has your comedy life been affected?
Well, nothing right now. Up until just say a few weeks ago, it was pretty much business was still going on. But then with these latest measures and with the second spike, everyone has decided, let's keep everyone at home just to help prevent a further spike. So right now, no shows.
No shows.
Even online? Is anything going on?
Well, some people are trying some online stuff. For example, one of the comedy clubs, the fellow there, he ran his comedy course, but he just did it online. And today, one of the other clubs is going to do a question and answer for the people remotely. But you can get online and have the comedians answer your questions. So, but no one's here done a show yet. So I think we're all looking to see which platform is best, because I mean, we use Zoom a lot at school, but there you can see there's still a little bit of a lag, and it's a bit difficult, especially with improv.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. And what about making jokes? Like, are there is there comedy about coronavirus, or are people not touching the subject? I mean, do you hear are there late night talk shows or anything like that? Comedy shows, daily shows there in Hong Kong? How have they been treated?
Nothing really like that here, like I say, a late night show. But as far as our own shows, we've been handling the subject, both stand-up and improv. So most of us will have some kind of jokes about some of the more ridiculous measures, or just the more ridiculous way that people have been acting. And in improv too, sometimes we'll get as a suggestion virus, or pandemic, or something like that. So
right,
people aren't afraid. Even when we've had the protests here, people weren't afraid to talk about that. So people are pretty good about dealing with that.
And I gather that to the coronavirus situation has pretty much put an end to the protests on the streets there. Are they still going on?
When we had some elections back in November, that helped to calm a lot of the tensions down. But there are still some pockets, and even now there will still be some pockets of because those problems are still there. I mean,
oh, he froze.
Not the mass protests like we saw either.
Right.
There was a bunch of it skipped there a bunch. We lost the connection a little bit.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, okay. What other things have you been doing, Pete, to while you're inside there? to amuse yourself and distract yourself?
Well, I mean, luckily I live with my girlfriend, so I have company. But things like there's always home projects that are always put on hold, so there's no excuse anymore. So things around the house, we've been trying to do more cooking, baking, painting. She's trying to teach me piano. That's we've actually
not going so well.
Yeah. I'm too old. My fingers are like too arthritic.
That's
And
fun though. What are you baking?
Actually, cheesecake quite a bit. I've always loved
Ooh.
cheesecake, so now I can have it.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
What particular cheesecake? Because people have been enjoying some of the recipes people have been sharing on other shows with us.
Well, I found
You have
a
one?
basic like New York style cheesecake, and then I'll just play around with different, adding different things into it. Maybe one time I just tried adding some, peach syrup with it, and serve it with peaches on top, or just different fruits with it. So
Nice.
yeah.
Nice.
For cheesecake.
Nice.
I'm a big fan as well.
Yep. I'm a cheesecake fan.
Cool. Yeah, well, is there anything that you're a little bit ahead of us there. I mean, have you noticed that the curve has been flattening? Is there anything that we should know here as we prepare for the next few weeks?
Yeah, don't let your guard down. That's kind of what happened here. It's just that the government hasn't been so decisive on many things. A lot of times we're thinking of doing this, or we might do this just to hope that, say, businesses, like with the alcohol, they were hoping that if they threatened a ban, that bars and restaurants would self-police themselves, but that's generally not how things work. So, and as far as for everyone else, just even if you're feeling good or you're young and you think, oh, we're fine, you could still be carrying. So it's just take it serious and, isolate as much as you can, wash your hands. It sounds silly, but it's stuff that works. And masks, well, I mean, I've always heard one way or the other. They're necessary, not necessary. So for me, when I'm out in public, I wear a mask.
You do?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know if I have it, which I don't think I do, but why take the chance? And also when you're out in public, especially if you're on a mass transit, you don't know who's next to you, who has it, who's going to sneeze or whatever. So, yeah.
Yeah. Right on.
That's right.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Pete, for joining us and for giving us your insight on what it's like there in Hong Kong. We do appreciate you taking the time to do that. Yeah. Enjoy your day.
Yeah.
Thank you, and we'd like to share some links to what you're doing and hopefully share your cheesecake recipe if you'll share it with us offline.
Okay, sure.
Right on. All right.
All right. Thanks. Be well. Stay safe.
You too, guys. Thanks.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Bye for now.
All right.
Thanks so much for listening. Be kind to one another, and remember, wash your hands.
We're Short Attention Spa, and we will be calling comedians every single day if it's the only thing we do. And sometimes it is.